Coming to Curiosity Stream, go on an adventure 66 million years in the making with Dino Week. From new discoveries about the dinosaurs we thought we knew, to the mind-blowing species still being unearthed, and the controversial discovery that could rewrite history. Did dinosaurs survive longer than imagined? Dino Week on Curiosity Stream. And with monthly, annual, and bundled pricing plans, find the one that works for you at curiositystream.com.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
Hello, my paranormal peeps. This is Matt Harvey with Deep Woods Paranormal. I am back with another paranormal podcast. For those of you who don't know, my name again is Matt Harvey. I am the founder and lead investigator with Deep Woods Paranormal. I've been researching the paranormal for close to 30 years. My wife, Amanda, has been investigating with me for close to probably 25. So, anyways, today we're going to take some questions from our viewers. A lot of people had some questions about Bigfoot stuff on Friday, so I tried to answer those questions, and today I'm going to try and answer your questions regarding other paranormal topics. So on this paranormal podcast from Mondays, we talk about pretty much anything paranormal, be it ghosts, UFOs, crypto creatures, hauntings, aliens, anything paranormal in nature, strange lights, whatever. So that's basically what we're going to be talking about today. Normally I kind of tell some stories on these podcasts, but I do like to answer questions from fans. So if you want to ask a question or leave a comment, please do. You can do that down below. If you're on our Facebook channel, you can leave a comment down there. Our YouTube channel, same thing. Or any other social media, you can just leave a comment and I'll try and get your question answered on our podcast. Alright, so let's start with this one. The scariest thing I've ever seen. I think there's, depending on what field I was researching in that point in time, I think there's a couple. Growing up, you guys have probably heard, if you've heard my paranormal podcast, you know, growing up I had a lot of activity around me that typically just like to scare the crap out of me. If we're going back to my childhood, I can't just name one, I have to name several things. I think the fact that something could pull my pillow out from under my head while I was sleeping, and then the fact that it was always down, I had a bunk bed. The ladder was on the side of the bunk bed where my head was. This pillow, I actually caught it one night, would fly out straight out to my right, essentially. Go down on the floor, and then I looked down there, it would be gone. And because it woke me up, I saw it. I saw the pillow as it basically was pulled out from under my head. Go down to the floor, and then I looked down, and there'd be nothing. I look around the corner, and I couldn't find it. I had a little flashlight, and it'd always be at the ladder, leaned up against the ladder. And it happened so many times that one time I was almost asleep. I had my arms wrapped around this pillow to hold on to it so it wouldn't get pulled out. Something gave a good hard tug, and I thought it was my brother. So I woke up and I looked down. There's nobody there. And then as I'm holding on to it, I just released a little bit because I was more interested in finding out what had pulled the pillow. It yanked right out of my hands. Again, straight out to the right. And I looked down and it just disappeared. And of course I look over at the ladder. The pillow was down there. So being 8 years old or wherever I was, I crawl on my tummy. I reach down to grab the pillow, kind of leaning over the edge. The pillow literally yanks again. Somebody was trying to pull it out of my hands. And I hear this little girl's laugh. Creeped me the hell out. But another time when I was sleeping, I had like I said, I had bunk beds. The bottom bunk could actually turn out to make an L. There was a dresser that would slide into that hole to kind of create a fort area, if you will. So that's kind of what I used it for. I put sheets all the way around the bunk bed. And I essentially, I would put sheets out there and turn a light on inside. Now, if you guys have seen the movie The Sixth Sense, this is a crazy part about that movie where the little girl goes by the tent and pulls the sheet off. Well, I had something like that happen to me, but it didn't pull the sheet off. It just went by. A shadow, a human-like figure, shadow, came around the bed from the closet area to my left, around the front of the bed, and then basically stood there and watched me. And it freaked me out. I thought it was my brother or my mom or somebody. And this is at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Usually nobody's up at that time. And as soon as I pulled the sheet out, it was gone. There was nobody there. And there was no time for something to go run away or hide or duck under the... I would have felt if somebody ducked under the bed or something like that. It was a small room. It was like a 12 by 12 room, so there wasn't anywhere for anybody to hide except for maybe back in the closet, which they wouldn't have had time to, or get out the door again, which they wouldn't have had time to get out. That's my childhood. Those were a couple of my scariest experiences. As an adult, I think dealing with the demonic, we lived in a house with a demonic entity, and having it open the closet door, this thing looked like death. I mean, it wasn't death, but it looked like skeleton that had like a robe over it. If you've ever seen the movie Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi has his cloak over his head, and he's got except this thing had a black one on, and it would literally pull the closet door open and peek out and look at me. Well, one night it came floating, not walking, floating out of the damn closet, and the foot of my bed started to shake. The whole bed, I had just a metal bed frame, and the damn thing just whoom, after it shook violently for a couple seconds. And then I see this thing, and this thing had just disappeared as it came out of the closet. Then I see it reappear. I see the back of it float back into the closet door closes. That was it, and that was my experience. So the next morning, I pulled the mattress and the box spring off of it to look to see what had happened. Now, this happened at the foot of my bed. It wasn't like it was where all my weight was, and I was only about 180 pounds at that point in time, maybe less. So the bed frame had been bent, literally bent. I took this out. I used a sledgehammer on it. I hammered away at this thing because it was broken. My parents didn't care. They're like, okay, whatever. I went out and I just hammered away at this thing for a good 10 minutes. My friends and I, we could bench press 300, 400 pounds, and we were just yanking on that thing. We were hanging on it, trying to get it to bend. We couldn't get it to bend. We couldn't get anything to bend that frame. So I have no explanation for that. But it freaked me out even more that the fact that we couldn't bend it. My dad's like, oh, well, you just, it's just your weight. I'm like, no, I don't think so. You come over here and try and bend this. And he just, no. Bigfoot experiences. Oh, yeah, okay. So they want to know my scariest Bigfoot experience. I think my scariest Bigfoot experience, and I haven't had many, I've only had a couple that really, really freaked me out, was when I was walking back down from Black Star Canyon. It's a single-lane road. It's a dirt road. It's a fire access road now. It used to be an actual road that went from Orange County to Riverside. It's, like I said, it's one single lane. Now they've widened it to two, but it used to be one. And so I was walking, I was about 1.5 miles away from my car. The road kind of goes straight for a while. It's the trail. It's a road trail, whatever you want to call it. And then it starts to wind its way up through the mountains. And it's not in the middle of nowhere, but it's very secluded. If you were to scream bloody murder, nobody hear you. Very spotty cell phone service. Just a place I mean, if something did happen, you would want to be by yourself, which is where I was basically a lot on my own, by myself, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. My wife's sleeping, not knowing that I'm probably getting hurt or something crazy. I would not recommend doing what I used to do. But I did carry enough supplies with me. If something did happen, I'd be fine. I could probably take care of myself and get out of there, stuff like that. I was walking back down past where the mines were, just had an experience with a Bigfoot where I had shaken a tree. Before that, I kept hearing growling and grunting, and then I physically saw the Bigfoot run up a path where the creek was. And I've talked about this many times, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. Anyways, I was walking back down, and as I got down about 200-300 feet maybe around the corner, this thing was just squatted down on the side of a hill, not even probably 3 feet from me. And I walked right past. I didn't even see it. I just caught it out of the corner of my eye. And as I turned and looked, I went, oh. And I'm not going to use the word, but yeah. My heart skipped a few beats. I thought I didn't know what was going to happen. That thing could have reached out and grabbed me. I mean, it could have done anything it wanted. And it just basically sat there and watched me walk by. I got about 5 or 6 steps. I turned around and it was gone. Now this thing squatted down. This is the one that I call the bouncer, or one of the ones I call the bouncer. There's twins up there. It's not super tall. It's like 6, 7, 8 feet tall. It's taller than me. It's probably 7, 8 feet tall, but it's almost as wide as it is tall. This thing has a big, huge, burly chest. I mean, maybe 4 or 5 of me, stacked next to each other. I mean, that's how big this damn thing was. The arms are just ginormous. And I just looked back and went, okay. It had flanked me. When it ran up the creek, it ran up the side of the hill, ran back down the other side, or the other one, its brother or whatever it was, had flanked me, had followed me back down. And the whole time I was walking down, I kept hearing tree branches snap and grunting and growling. And this went on for half an hour, almost 45 minutes maybe. At that point in time, I wasn't really scared. It was more of a, holy crap. That thing, it didn't do anything. It just sat there and watched me. But it took me 2-3 months to go back up there, especially alone. Every time I walked through there, I had a new appreciation for Bigfoot. I felt like I could tell when I was being watched. It just creeped me out. I mean, I recorded eye shine all over the place. They watched me, and if you want to know the story leading up to this, you have to go back and listen to other podcasts. But I talk about what happened with the trail cams and stuff like that, so you can go back and listen to that. Why do I feel places with Bigfoots have Bigfoot activity are haunted? In my experience, and this is only like 3 or 4 locations that I've done a lot of extensive research at, Black Star Canyon and a couple other places in Joe's, where I have 3 or more years of investigations going on, I've had ghostly activity a lot of the times, where I've seen apparitions, or I've seen orbs, which I believe are more just kind of some kind of energy they're given off by the earth, or maybe they're spiritual in some way. Not a big orb fan, but sometimes when you see these balls of light, I mean, it's not dust, it's not water vapor, it's not anything, it's not caught on camera, you're actually seeing with your eyes. It looks like a little tiny sun. It's actually giving off light. So I've seen that a couple times. I've seen apparitions. We've had batteries drain out of nowhere. Black Star Canyon was the place I started ghost hunting before I started Bigfoot researching. I was there communicating with ghosts first, and then of course I had that Bigfoot encounter, which led me down the rabbit hole of researching Bigfoots. At Joe's especially, I mean, he has family members that are buried there. We've documented cameras turning off, turning on, turning off, turning on. It's just the weirdest thing, and it's like something was just trying to communicate with us and get our attention. and it drained. Then we had, I don't know how many cameras we had facing us and facing out of the woods that night, maybe 10 or more night vision cameras. And then all of a sudden, one after another, the batteries just drained. And I had external battery chargers, which I was able to plug them back in, and even those were drained. Those usually last, with those cameras, I can go almost 24 hours with them. They were being drained as soon as I basically plugged them in. They were down like 50% already. And I just charged them the night before. I had like 13 of them, just to make sure we had enough batteries to charge those cameras, because we were going to be there a couple of days and there was no power source. So that was the whole idea, was to recharge the batteries with those external batteries. And then we had a full-on conversation with something at Joe's. I think it was his uncle, and it communicated with us and lit up the K2s, lit up multiple K2s. We weren't really anticipating ghost hunting. We were just brought the K2s for some reason. I think we were going to visit another location after we left Joe's that was supposed to be haunted. And so the K2s start lighting up, turned into more of a ghost hunt, and as the ghost hunt went on, the Bigfoots came down and we started seeing eye shine behind the trees, and they would duck out around the corner and you could see them blink. It was the coolest thing. I mean, that night was probably one of my most memorable Bigfoot researches that I've done. We had so much activity.
How long was Neil Armstrong actually on the moon? When did Europe start speaking English? Did Marco Polo really go to China? CuriosityStream is the streaming service for all things history, plus science, wildlife, and more. What's the real story behind the Mona Lisa? We've got that. What caused the collapse of Rome? We know. Where did we find mankind's earliest ancestor? Come find out. For the holidays, give the gift of curiosity with 25% off gift cards for your curious cohorts. It's holiday shopping season at curiositystream.com/gift.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
Like I said, I've spent about 3 years documenting stuff, and Joe too. I've been able to work with Joe and teach him how to do the Bigfoot research, and now he represents Deepwoods Paranormal up in his area. So yeah, that's why I feel that places with Bigfoots are also haunted. A lot of time people see shadow people. Shadow people, in my opinion, are just some kind of interdimensional beings. They seem to show up at haunted locations. Are they ghosts? I don't know. I mean, there's no proof of all this. My hypothesis is that there's some kind of interdimensional being, or maybe we're seeing ghosts cross through our dimension and back out. Who knows exactly what we're seeing? I mean, if you look at dimensions, supposedly they're like a book. And as you flip through the pages, you go through dimension after dimension. Who's to say that, humans, after we pass away, we're just some kind of energy, maybe we've moved into another dimension. Sometimes we're able to cross back across somehow. Again, that's another conversation for another day. I just had a lot of experiences with ghosts, other things, when I'm out researching Bigfoots. I'm not looking for ghosts, but then I have things happen, and that's why I feel that way. What is my favorite piece of gear and why? Well, it used to be the K2, because I just like the K2. We could have a conversation. Light up the lights for yes, leave it on one little light for no. If you don't know what a K2 is, it's a little EMF detector. It's very, very sensitive. It was made for finding dog wires under the ground. If you don't know what a dog wire is, please go Google it. But it has 5 little lights. The first light always stays lit up, And as you get close to anything, like your cell phone, if you start getting a text, the K2 will light up. You get next to the side of a microwave. You get next to a refrigerator, it'll light up. Anything that puts out EMF. Now, we put off EMF as well, but it's a different type of EMF, and this one does not pick us up. But as time has gone on, when I first got, and you guys are all going to roll your eyes, when I first got a spirit box, because somebody said, oh yeah, this is the newest thing, and we got to get one, we need to be on par with all the other paranormal teams out there that have them, they're getting a lot of results with them. We got absolutely nothing. 8 years. I mean, I think we had 3 things that came through that were, it's like, okay, I think it's at that. But most of the time it was just junk. It was just, and you hear that. It's like, okay, what the hell was that? So we weren't able to use that to communicate. And then we moved to Texas, and somebody on our team says, hey, you got to get one again. And I rolled my eyes and went, that's junk. Those things are a piece of junk. I don't know if I believe that they're actually picking up spirits or whatever, but I had some extra money, so I bought it. And I hooked it to an external speaker, not the little, excuse my language, but the cheap piece of crap that comes with it. And I understand they're just trying to sell a product, but those little speakers that go into the side of it, guys, if you have a spirit box, do yourself a favor, buy a really nice speaker and get the double connections that go to it and connect it through another speaker. The quality is just so much better. The vocalizations and what you're hearing is so much clearer. So much clearer and so much more to the point where you can actually understand what the heck they're saying. Now, I don't know if the spirit box is actually creating a voice or if we're just picking up on, as it's scanning through radio frequencies. I don't know if it's just picking up on the voices coming through the radio, or if it's something's actually manipulating the audio coming through the box, or if they're just using the speaker. Because a lot of the times when we get really good, clear things that come out of the spirit box, it goes quiet. There's nothing. It just stops. We're looking at it going, wait, did they just drain the battery? And then a voice comes out, and it's like, oh, and it's crystal clear, like I'm talking to you now. Okay, that's very strange. So now, the more I kind of do research with the spirit box, the more I tend to like it. I think it's a direct communication with whatever we're communicating with, allows us to communicate. That is now maybe not my favorite piece of gear, but it's the one I enjoy the most, because it allows us to have a conversation with whoever or whatever we're communicating with, trying to communicate with, let's put it that way. Where is your next investigation? Well, we don't normally give out locations. We have a lot of private investigations that we're doing right now. We're helping people. So that's why it's been a little slow for us getting videos out and stuff like that. Yeah, we're publishing something daily almost on our YouTube channel, our TikTok channel, our Instagram channel, Facebook. There's usually something coming out every day, whether it's a podcast or clips from our investigations or a full-on investigation. And there's going to be stuff in the full-on investigations you're not going to see in the clips, and vice versa. Our next investigation's coming up, I think, next Saturday. We're helping a family. Once we're done with that, we're going to head out for some Bigfoot research. We have another couple that might come with us. We have a lot of people that are kind of joining us here and there and doing the Bigfoot research. I'm going out with a group of military guys, which I'm really excited about, because I want to get their take on everything. I want to see, they know how to track, they know how to do all that stuff. They're trained for this. So it's going to be really interesting to get their take on what's going on. We're going to go into a location that is, it's a location I've been a couple of times before, I think 3 times, and 3 times we've seen Bigfoots. I've seen Bigfoots 3 times out there. Had activity 3 times. So I do believe they're out there. And that's going to be coming up. So that should be cool. I'm not going to give out the location just because I don't want other Bigfoot researchers going there and starting to do research down there. So How long have I been researching the paranormal? I've been researching the paranormal since I was a baby. I've had so many strange things happen around me from the time I was born all the way till now, that I just, there's just so many things have happened. When I met my wife, we started to investigate the paranormal. I think I was 19 when that started happening. I was already investigating a little bit by myself, but she started going with me. Girl who thought I wasn't too Looney Tunes. Of course, I made her my wife, which is, Amanda. We've been researching the paranormal for pretty close to 30 years now. We've been just doing this a long time and stuff. So, have I seen a UFO? Yes. If you've listened to our podcasts, you heard about the Orange County incident that happened where I was out getting some medicine after having my wisdom teeth out around 2 in the morning, saw something out the window, went out there with my big DSLR camera and my video camera and started recording and taking pictures. And then you've heard about the Facebook and the YouTube channels going down because of that. So yeah, that was my first experience. Never again will I post anything like that on YouTube, Facebook, or any other social media. Maybe on our website, but even then I'm a little afraid because everything on my computer got wiped last time. 30 years worth of, not yet, about 22 years worth of evidence gone. Wiped everything off my computer, my external hard drive, everything. So no, won't be doing that again. Okay. The last time I saw a UFO, I think I saw another one here about 6 months ago. I was driving down the road. We have an airport real close to our house, and it's a military airport. There's a small section where, this is a small town. There's a small section where commercial planes come in and out, and people can fly from here to Houston or Austin or Dallas or short trips, pretty much. There's small planes that come in. And so I'm watching, and this weird looking black triangle comes flying off. It looked like it took off. And then it just kind of slows way down and moves to the left a little bit. It's a triangle, but the back side of it has some kind of lights on it. It's like a bright white light along the whole side of it, from top to bottom. And as I'm watching it, it just barely moves. It just sits there. It's got a flashing light. It's got different flashing lights on it, different colors than planes. It had blue, green, and of course some of these are plane colors. Blue, green, yellow. I think it had orange, and then that one spot on the back of it was all white. So as I watched it, another plane took off, went right by it, just zoomed right by it. I'm like, wait a minute, that's strange. I was working, so I couldn't stay and watch it any longer. I went to grab my phone, but there was just too many people driving by, and there was no way I could safely pull over and get a picture of it. But I watched it for a good 15 minutes probably. I wanted to turn and follow the damn thing, but I just didn't have time. Okay. Have I been on TV before? Yes. I've been on several internet shows. One time, I'm not going to name the location or the team, but we went in, and actually a couple times, we went in and investigated locations, kind of scouted it for another team that has their own show. They're very, very popular. We had a lot of activity, a lot of strange things happen. And so they came in after us. They were actually on the phone while we were investigating, talking to the other investigator with us. It was really cool. And the other time, we had just been to the Star of India, and this wasn't on TV, but I had a lot of experiences. Both Jason and Grant had the same exact experiences that I had the week before they came on board. They started shooting their show. We were on an internet show on the other location where they were basically scouting it. We were scouting it for them. I haven't been on any major shows, but I've been on a few other shows. I'm not going to name them either because I don't know if they ever aired or not. And then when I ran the California Ghost Hunters, we were working with a producer from Fox to set up a show and a lot of the team members just didn't want to do it for some reason and didn't like the way they were trying to take the show, because we were going to be another ghost hunters pretty much. We were going to just do ghost hunting, and that didn't work out. So the last time we were working with a producer, unfortunately he got sick. That didn't continue. So anyways, maybe in the future, maybe we'll get back on TV. I'm doing my own productions. As you've seen our podcasts, basically everything is me. I produce the shows that we make and all that stuff, along with Amanda and a few other people that come with us. Somebody asked, this is going to be the last question, what is your favorite investigation? I would have to say my favorite investigation was probably the Woodbine Hotel over here in Texas. We had so many experiences. Not just me, everybody had an experience, at least one, if not more. I mean, we have the armoire doors pop open out of nowhere. We tried to debunk it. We jumped on the floor. We tried to pull it open lightly. We tried to tap the side of it. We walked around as hard as we could. As soon as we did that, and we closed it up, it popped open again. And then having the little girl go knocking on that couple's door, and I've talked about the Woodbine before, so if you're wondering about the Woodbine Hotel, you can go back and through our podcast, or even through our shows on YouTube here, and look for it. And we had just so much documentation of paranormal activity. It wasn't even funny. Just so you guys know, normally when we go into an investigation, we don't get hardly anything. We're lucky if we get maybe 1 or 2 audio clips and maybe 3 or 4 good videos of something happening. We had 60. We had 60 documentation, pieces of documentation that I put into that show. And there was more that you guys didn't see, but it just wasn't as interesting. Everything from something sitting down on a chair and Gil catching it with thermal, not just once but twice, as Amanda, the other Amanda on our team at that point in time, felt something severely cold to her to her right, where she was sitting, and it looked like energy was being pulled off of her, and this thing was kind of forming and stuff, and that's what the owner had told us to do. Shammy, she said to, leave his chair open for him, and we've investigated there twice. And then talking to Danny in the bar area, he came through the spirit box so clearly. We had multiple conversations with him. We had a lot of interference with our cameras and other things. Batteries kept draining, and weird things just happened. I mean, if you watch that episode, you'll see what happens to one of our team members. She was basically attacked, and that wasn't good. And Amanda jumped into action and helped with that. But just a cool location. I would have to definitely brand that place haunted. We came across, I want to say it was 8 intelligent entities at that location. That's unheard of. I've never experienced that ever before in my life. I mean, I've come across intelligent entities before, and I've had conversations with intelligent entities before, but if something can say Ezekiel through the spirit box and answer our questions, and then the word Bob came through, we found out he was Republican. He was part of the Republican Party, and he attended several meetings and functions at the hotel. And then the owner and his daughter supposedly died at the hotel, and supposedly they're still there, and that might be the little girl that we keep coming across. We haven't got her name yet, but we had a whole bunch of other names that came through, and then say that it was a slave. He was a slave. Ezekiel was a slave. And Underground Railroad came through the spirit box. And what else? So many things. There were so many things that came through. It said our names, all of our names. The spirit box said all of our names at least once. I think almost twice for most of us. And I mean, I can't debunk that. I mean, I've not been able to figure out how. There's nothing on the radio that's going to say Ezekiel. I've never heard I've been listening to the radio for 40 some odd years, and I've never heard the word Ezekiel come through the radio, or the word Underground Railroad come through. So that just tells me that whatever was there was able to manipulate our devices and create voices with ease. They seem to do it with ease. And like I said, we investigated there twice. Stayed there twice. I woke up to one around 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, after we had just wrapped our investigation. It smelled like somebody was cooking sugar cookies. It smelled so good. And this went on for 40 minutes, 50 minutes. Finally, I think I fell asleep and I didn't smell it anymore, but that was crazy. If you ever get the chance to go stay out in Madisonville, visit the Woodbine Hotel, I would highly recommend it. It's a really cool location. The owners are very, very nice. Good cooks too, by the way. Make sure you eat there. Alright guys, so this is going to wrap up our paranormal investigation for Monday. Stay tuned. Amanda's podcast is coming out on Wednesday here, and then we'll do another Bigfoot podcast on Friday. Alright guys, you guys stay haunted.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.